Nature's Eyes, a My Little Pony fanfiction. Prologue. It was a dark, rainy day in Ponyville. The Pegasi were really going to town with this storm. It was a Sunday. Sundays were usually supposed to be sunny, hence the name. But the thing was, if one Pegasus got sick or took a day off, like dominoes, it would start a chain reaction, eventually leading to the whole schedule being thrown out of whack. This only happened once in a blue moon, of course, since the Pegasi rarely took sick days, but when it did, it was usually a slow day for every pony else. After all, what are you supposed to do when you've made plans on a Sunday and it's raining? Luckily for blind old Rainbow Dash, the Earth Sage, as she was called, she was inside the hollowed-out tree that she called her home, spending the evening sharing stories with one of her closest, albeit recent, friends. His name was Clockwork Orange, and he was a young telepathic unicorn stallion from Trottingham, the My Little Pony equivalent to London. They always spent Sunday evenings in the tree together, ever since he could remember. It was a little ritual they had established a little while ago. Clockwork would come by bringing a couple of apples from Granny Applejack and a few pastries from Old Mare Pinkie Pie and the Cake Twins. Then Dash would recount the stories of her travels around the globe as a young mare. There were so many stories, Clockwork had lost count a long time ago. There were stories of distant, uncharted lands, where the native ponies had slanted eyes and spoken strange tongues. Stories of creatures big and small that none had ever seen before. In one case, there was a centaur that towered over any of the tallest dragons you could imagine and carried conifers as clubs. Stories of what Dash had called an intra-dimensional gate she had found up in the mountains, which led her to a world dominated by humans, creatures that stood on 2 legs instead of 4. The locals called this place New York. The list went on and on. At this moment, Dash was finishing up a rather humorous story about a bumbling doctor she had run into in her travels.
And when the patient woke up, she laughed, his skeleton was missing and the doctor was never heard from again.
She and Clockwork roared with laughter at this story for a good minute or so. When they finally calmed down, they picked up the story back up where they left off.
Anyway, that's how that stallion lost his medical license, whoever he was.
Blimey, replied Clockwork, with that accent of his. Wouldn't you love to meet that bugger? He then proceeded to mimic a Ponyville accent, with considerable accuracy, surprisingly. Hi, I'm a doctor, and I can remove your skeleton without killing you. At this, they guffawed once again.
Still, can you imagine actually removing some pony's skeleton, including the skull?
Actually, Dasha, I never gave it much thought, but now that I think about it, it seems like it would be impossible to survive the procedure.
Well, it's not impossible, because this patient survived. Not for long, of course.
What do you mean?
Well, he woke up, tried to move, and fell off the operating table. Died of hemorrhaging of the brain.
Clockwork cringed at this. He then glanced at the clock, realizing it was a bit late. Oh, Dasha? It's getting late, so I should get going.
Oh, sure. It's nearly midnight. I mean, listening to me rambling on about stupid doctors in New York, you must have been bored as hell.
Are you kidding me? These Sunday night cupcake sessions are what keep me going. Were it not for you, I'd probably off myself out of boredom. I mean, there's not much else to do around here. Clockwork chuckled a bit, thinking Rainbow Dash would join him in the laughter. She didn't. In fact, Clockwork noticed that Dash was glaring at him as much as her blindness would allow, like a mother would at her daughter for swearing. This confused him, making him wonder just what it was he said that was over the line. Then she slapped him across the face. Now he was really confused, and quite hurt by her actions. He also noticed that angry tears were filling her eyes through that scolding blind glare she was shooting him.
Don't you ever make a joke about suicide again, she choked. I have been down that road, and I promise you, it is not a laughing matter. I don't normally care about dark humor, but that is where I draw the line.
Clockwork was almost speechless. He could barely contain his shame as he tried to answer her through nervous stammering. I'm so sorry, Dasha, he finally stuttered. I had no idea that kind of thing would strike such a chord with you.
Coming from the mind reader, she hissed, that's saying something.
I'd better go. He opened the door and was about to walk out when Rainbow Dash stopped him.
Clockwork," she murmured. "I'm sorry for slapping you. I shouldn't have done that. You were just joking. You didn't know." "Oh, it's fine, Dasha. Next time if I make that joke, though, I'll remember to read their mind before delivering it, so I know I'm not going too far. Besides, I don't think I'll be leaving tonight." "Why?" "Can't you hear it? The Pegasi decided to make it hail. I walk out there and I'll crack my skull open." "Well then, I guess you're staying here for tonight. Let me change into something more comfortable, and then I'll get the guest room ready for you."
"Dasha, you don't have to do that. I'll just sleep on the couch."
"It's no trouble, Clockwork." And with that she removed the blue hooded cape she always wore and hung it on the coat rack. As she did this, Clockwork noticed 2 stumps on her back which he didn't recognize, and a scar that ran from her neck to her flank, which corresponded with a story she had told in which she had stumbled into an alternate universe where Pinkie Pie was a murderer.
"So, Clockwork interjected, closing the door. "How'd that happen there?"
"Oh, Clockwork, I must have told you the Pinkie the Murderer story a million times by now."
"No, not the scar. The stumps on your back. What are they?"
Rainbow Dash paused for a little bit, realizing in that moment that she had never told him who she really was, or rather, who she used to be. "Guess I haven't told you that story just yet, huh?" she replied. "Why don't you just read my mind and find out?"
"I want to hear it from you. What are those stumps?"
"Well, I wasn't always an Earth pony, Clockwork. I also wasn't born blind."
"What? You weren't always—"
"Does that mean—" "I used to be a Pegasus."
Oh, come on, you can't be serious."
"I'm dead serious. But I wasn't just a Pegasus. I was the best Pegasus around, training to become a member of the Wonderbolts."
"What? No, come on. You, a Wonderbolt? That's like me training to become a movie maker."
"I was once the only pony who would pull off the sonic rain boom, and I wanted to be a Wonderbolt so bad I could taste it. But as it turned out, the universe had something else in mind for me."
She walked to Clockwork and led him to the kitchen table.
"And it all started on a day like any other.